But the reality is, so there's this time in our cycle that that when we have our testosterone at a higher level, because we all still have the same hormones, it's just estrogen and progesterone lower for men, and testosterone is lower for us. But we still have those hormones playing a role in our body. So when our testosterone is in the highest, when it comes to us as entrepreneurs, this is when you want to make decisions. Most likely, you're going to be very, very assertive with your decision. And this is, I think it is key. This is the time in your period that you also want to work out super hard. You're going to push. This is when you're going to lift more weights than you have ever lifted before. This is when, if it depends on the workout, I have a very specific way how I train myself and my clients. But going for the traditional way of working out, this is when you're going to do more repetitions than ever, right? Because you're going to push. You have this drive that testosterone is giving us, which is the reason why you find men, like in general, having more drive. We actually have more challenges, whether making decisions or being more certain in certain things, but there is within the 20-day cycle, we have our time. When for men, speaking to men that are listening to this, your cycle is 24 hours. Ours is 28 days. So the way how we make decisions, the way how we work out, the way how we should do intermittent fasting is completely different.
Welcome, fellow entrepreneurs and goal-getters, to Entrepreneurial Elevation, Unleashing Greatness Within, with myself, your host, and my special guest today, Dee Mago. I am super excited to have her here today and learn from her. She's a Reiki master, a sound wellness practitioner, and a healing integration coach. And I love that she describes herself as a rebel. That's my experience of her. We've traveled in the same social circles for a while, and every time she's in the room, she just has this electric energy, and I'm always wanting to be around her and get to know her better. So I'm excited to have her on today. Her mission is to be a catalyst to help transform people's lives by focusing on body, mind, and soul through exercise, nutrition, and emotional healing. And she really loves working with the awakened entrepreneur who's a woman, which is also who I love connect with, and like-minded people. And yeah, I just love her energy. She just opened a wellness hub with 11 other practitioners. She's got a lot going on. And today we're going to pick her brain and really learn. I'm excited. This call really is for the women out there, because we're going to be talking about our 28-day menstrual cycles, our hormones, perimenopause, menopause, and how do we be a woman and still be in business and be productive and be effective and also honor our self-care. And if you're listening and you're a man, it doesn't mean that this episode isn't for you. It means you can listen and actually learn and understand women better, which is always a great thing too. And so just Dee, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you. It is definitely an honor to be here. And I have become very passionate about what we're going to talk about today, because it's basically helping women to understand even how to do business better going forward.
I love that. And I'm so excited to talk to you. And before we dive into the topic, Dee, maybe you could tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, how did you get into the journey of entrepreneurship and then find the lane of health and wellness and healing?
I think for me, being an entrepreneur was a leap from life. and because I'm coming from a background of going to university, having a full-time job, you do the normal things, you get married, you have kids, you have a full-time job. And then what ended up happening, it's, as I said, I think it was definitely life or destiny, who knows? I honestly don't know exactly what it was, but it literally put me on this path. And it was like, I could not find a job. So my background is in IT. That's what I went to university for. Studied computers, programming, business analyst, name it all, okay? I could not find a job in that. And then surviving, I had my little kids, recently divorced, all that kind of stuff. I had to do jobs, like all these jobs, and just to keep putting food on the table. And for the sake of me, when I could find jobs in a matter of days, contracts mostly, because that's what I was doing in the last 8 years of that career, I could not find single contract. Like, it was insane. And that's what I'm saying. It was probably destiny. 2 years in doing stuff, it clicked. I said, you know what? I can just work for back then, $15 an hour, doing a shitty job that I don't want to, and I will be miserable. Or I can do personal training for $15 an hour, which is quite cheap for a personal trainer. But it's like, but I will be doing something that I am passionate about, because I was passionate about it, but for my own self, but not for business. And that's basically, that was a turning point. Is like whether I can be miserable doing a shitty job, stressed because I have to put food on the table, all those things that comes with life and responsibilities. And or at least I can ease some of that stress by doing something that I like to do. And that's basically how everything started. And it was a massive leap of faith. And it's been 9 years now. Yeah, it's been 9 years. And that every year it's another leap of faith. And I keep going. And here we are.
Oh my
And
God.
it has been from personal training, it's still evolving from all the things that I do now with me, right?
Yeah. I love your story though. I love how you say it's just a leap of faith every year. And is that not the truth? It's like you, as an entrepreneur, if that first leap is so scary. And then when you have the courage to do it, and sometimes it does come out of necessity, like it did for you, right? What the heck? Something's got to give. Wait a minute. I'm just going to start something myself. And then every year it starts to evolve. And in hindsight, absolutely, you're where you're meant to be and you're doing what you're meant to be doing and you're impacting so many people's lives. And you've turned this into such a great business for yourself. Yet you're making such a difference with what you're able to teach people, Dee, which I think is just so amazing. And so maybe just chat a little bit about, before we get into the main topic, I just want to know your take on why it's so important to self-heal and allow ourselves the time, money, space to focus on ourselves from a place of healing while we're still in growth and going towards our goal.
So it's definitely gonna help us to be a better person. Ultimately, so here, the most challenging areas for all of us, sorry, for all of us, it is dealing with our family. Our family we got in our family circle for a reason. And the reality is, every time we work with a client, there's also a mirror and a learning on what we need to work on. And need, as long as we choose to do it, of course, right? Because then we jump into free will, all that kind of stuff, and we all have the opportunity to choose whether we work on our healing or not. So here's what happened. If anybody that is listening to this is choosing not to do any healing because it's too woohoo, it's too weird, it's too painful, life will keep happening until you wake up and take action towards your healing. That is the reality. And it happens in any way. It happens through physical pain. It happens through divorce, or even in relationship. It happens through addiction. It shows up in multiple ways that it's each one of our life journey. But if it keeps repeating and something keeps happening and you're not living the life you desire for yourself, the wake-up call, let's start doing some healing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so true. I love what you're sharing, and it is so true. And this journey of healing, and maybe this is where we can segue into, as a woman, I know for myself, like you said, there's so many aspects of life. One of them, family. There's stress around work, stress around money. People can have health complications. We're so hard on ourselves just as human beings as it is. past life experiences. So healing could look like a lot of things. Yet I think as women, I know for myself, one thing I haven't even considered myself to take a look at and realize, wow, I should allow myself to give myself some grace around this area as is our 28-day cycle and our hormone. Right now, you throw that into the mix on top of everything else, and it can be a doozy. And so I'm just really curious. Can you first explain? So let's talk about this. I want to talk about the 28-day cycle, our menstrual cycle as a woman and our hormones, because a lot about this, you have a program around this to support women and women in business specifically as entrepreneurs. Yet, can you first, before we get into the details about how we could take a look at our cycle and how do we make better decisions or how do we create strategies or how do we be more productive? Can you first explain the different phases of the 28-day menstrual cycle and how they affect a woman's body and mind?
So we basically need, it's about understanding that through the 28-day cycle, we have a different group of hormones playing a role in it. And what I would like to do is I will share a screen with you because I would like you to add this to this presentation. And basically what it goes is, so we have like some hormones going on like if we divide our 28-day cycle in 4 phases, right? And that is no different than the 4 phases of the moon, for example, which a lot of different cultures have been link our cycles with the moon cycles as well. But it's no different than that. If you look at it, that you can visualize it because we cannot really get to see our hormones, but we can experience them and feel them. So then there is a first phase as we get into our first day of our bleeding day, and we have a certain hormone playing a role in our body. This is when we really want to make sure that we are doing a physical activity and all that stuff, but we're like a medium. We're not full on. And the next one, it only lasts 5 days. And it is where we have our testosterone at our highest level. And this is for us women entrepreneurs. We want to be fully mindful and aware of this part because it's basically as you are at day 11 on your cycle until day 14. Again, cycles for us, I'm still having my menstrual cycle, so it is pretty evident. But for women that whether they're still getting into menopause or in menopause or after, you can use the moon as a way to determine what your day 1 is. Or you choose any day. You're like, this is going to be my day 1. And what you're going to do is you're going to start, as you keep following the program, your hormones will start adapting to it. Our body's super smart. Like that, the reality.
That's so cool. So interesting.
Yeah. But I think one of the main things that I would like to bring to the listeners, it is understanding when we really want to make very, very serious decisions in our business. Because we cannot allow ourselves to make decisions based on what are the hormone levels in our body, which is why we gotta be very mindful and be very aware. So when the husband, speaking of women, when your husband is telling you, oh, you must be in your cycle, which is definitely pissing me off when my husband used to tell me, you must be in your cycle, I'm like, you, let's see, don't believe my cycle. But it's true. Even as much as I don't want to hear that, and I was very upset with my ex-husband every time he was saying that, it is true. But that's where healing takes place too. Because then I'm not getting upset at my husband, my partner, my boyfriend, girlfriend, whoever, right? Because blaming it on my cycle, now I'm becoming aware. It comes communication, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't take it as personal, but I'm also listening and say, you know what? If that person that I'm with, very, very close to, is noticed something, what is my body telling me that I'm not able to identify? Because I was getting pissed on it. And I think a lot of women, we all get pissed when the husband tells you that, oh, you must be in your cycle. It's like, seriously? Are you avoiding an argument because you think I'm in my cycle? But that's a different conversation for relationship, okay? We're talking about entrepreneurs right now.
I love it.
But the reality is, so there's this time in our cycle that that when we have our testosterone at a higher level, because we all still have the same hormones, it's just estrogen and progesterone lower for men, and testosterone is lower for us. But we still have those hormones playing a role in our body. So when our testosterone is in the highest, when it comes to us as entrepreneurs, this is when you want to make decisions. Most likely, you're going to be very, very assertive with your decision. And this is, I think it is key. This is the time in your period that you also want to work out super hard. You're going to push. This is when you're going to lift more weights than you have ever lifted before. This is when, if it depends on the workout, I have a very specific way how I train myself and my clients. But going for the traditional way of working out, this is when you're going to do more repetitions than ever, right? Because you're going to push. You have this drive that testosterone is giving us, which is the reason why you find men, like in general, having more drive. We actually have more challenges, whether making decisions or being more certain in certain things. But there is within the 20-day cycle, we have our time. When for men, speaking to men that are listening to this, your cycle is 24 hours. Ours is 28 days. So the way how we make decisions, the way how we work out, the way how we should do intermittent fasting is completely different. And not only that, when it comes to personal growth, when it comes to business coaching, we have been most likely trained by men. So who is out there? Vision from Mind Valley, Tony Robbins, all these big names, right? There are more women coming out, right? That definitely are stepping up. And I think bringing that feminine energy and that nurturing energy in the business world. But everything we know in the fitness industry, nutrition, intermittent fasting, and business, which all will affect our business, it is all being led by men. It's all being researched in men because we are too complicated when it comes to the functional, not being disrespectful in emotionally wise. It's simply our body. It is complicated. It's a complex body on how the emotion and hormones interact with everything. And none of that has been taken in consideration for us women in business.
Yeah. I want to ask you a few things. So you're sharing so much information, which is awesome. I'm loving this because I'm just so curious about it all. So you talked about the first phase and the second phase. I have a question. So when you say day one, does that mean like the first day of your period? Like when does the cycle actually start? Yes. Okay. So first day of the period. Okay. And then you say that we're most productive and effective. So being in our masculine energy, which is doing energy, exerting energy on day in our second phase day, which is the 11th to the 14th of the cycle. Yeah. Okay. So that's the time so chat about that. Let's talk about this still. So my question is, when we're in that phase of our cycle, when we're, for lack of better words, more productive, right? We have a clearer mindset. It's a better time to make decisions. What else, when it comes to business or entrepreneurship, should we be focusing on? And how do we utilize that base of time? Because it's not a very big
well, this is
to our benefit.
Well, this is when you really can work longer hours.
Okay.
Right? So let's back up a little bit also about understanding how work and society it's ruling our life. So our work hours or work days are Monday to Friday. Generally speaking, we're entrepreneurs. You're an entrepreneur. You're free. You're doing this because you're free to choose your days that you want to work on and the time. That is the main reason. Freedom, time, and money. This is why. And if there's something missing in any of these three areas where you're not having time for yourself, you don't feel you have the freedom that you wish or you thought you signed up for to be a business, and you don't have money, something has changed, right? And if you're overworking and you're still not feeling that you have any of those three, something have to change. And not necessarily going back and get a job, because you just need to just re-strategize or restructure your business. But that being said, this is where we have to be mindful of. It's going back to working the days of the week, 7 days of the week, is a very patriarchy society, because it's designed on the 24-hour cycle of the men, where they could work 5 days a week full on and 2 days taking a break, and they're fine. When for us, we need a full week of rest, which is between, as you count your day one on your period. And there is, I want to say that Dr. Mandy Paul, she's the one that is putting all this research out there. She is super good. And she's really, so what I did is I'm integrating all the research that she's been putting out there and integrating how we work out and how we run our business and how we should make decisions. Not only, let's say, if there's women out there listening to this that are not in business, you still have to consider when you're having an argument with your partner, just be mindful of that. Because if your emotions are going to be taking over, that's not the time in your cycle that you want to have serious conversations with your partner. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just bringing this research and this knowledge, because nobody's reinventing the wheel at this point, right? So taking that information, right, and how we can bring it into the fitness industry that it's being led by men too, how we can bring this into business, which is mostly being led by men, to make it more suitable for our cycle. So and again, going back to time, you know your cycle, you know your day one, you know the second phase, and you get into the third phase, which is similar to the first one, where you're just more medium, working hard, but just your medium. Set what's your 100%, right? So then just go on, and so in these two phases of your cycle, if we put it in an X, in 4 squares, right? So there are 2 phases of your cycle that you're going to work on your 70 and 80%. Mm-hmm. Then you have your 100% phase, right? And then if we put this in another side and another quadrant, right? Then that other quadrant, which will be opposite to your 100%, that's when you're going to rest for a day completely. So your cycle may be 30 days, 35 days, all depends, right? But you just adjust it. But that is resting is super important, because again, we're used to work 5 days super hard. Then you only take maybe 2 days off. And what I'm telling you right now is that you're going to adjust your working hours and days and effort in your business in 3 weeks. And you're going to take your week where you're going to be more relaxed. That's a week you don't want to make decisions. But here's the deal, because we're talking about entrepreneurs. Action-driven strategy. I have to think about how I'm going to make money all the time, because whether you're in survival mode or your business is in a position that it's all about growth and expansion and how you're going to keep up with all that. It's what? Can you just take a time and say, I just need to have a break? And this is where you may be working from home. This is where maybe you're working 2 or 3 hours a day instead of your full-on hour. You will really have to play with this. I don't really think we can figure it out. Individually, we can figure it out in 1 month. because there's so many elements on how we're doing intermittent fasting, how we're working out, our energy levels. And so there's so many things that play a role that we have completely ignored for as far as I know, because there was no freaking research telling us how we were like functioning other than following our intuition.
Yeah.
Which our intuition has also been corrupted by toxins, and toxins, chemicals in the environment, chemicals in our food, emotional toxins, because we probably got ourselves in very crappy relationship, like romantic relationship. Maybe we're talking about addiction. Like, who knows? And that is also piling up not only in our physical body, but our mental, our emotion, our spiritual life. It's taking over. So those are all the toxins. And then I'm telling you, as wonderful this all research sounds like, and how wonderful it is, and how it's giving us answer about how we can improve our life, there is an aspect of learning, because now I have to unlearn this patriarch way of thinking. That's how business has been ruled, to more nurturing, more I gotta go eat, take care of myself, listen to myself, and how I'm going to adapt this to my business.
Hi, I'm Tanya, and this is Julie, and we are the founders of Coach Core, your all-in-one solution for building and scaling a successful coaching business.
At Coach Core, we provide you with everything you need in one place. You can house your courses, manage memberships, run email campaigns, and create stunning websites and funnels, all with our easy-to-use platform.
And it's not just about the software. We offer built-in coaching and mentorship, helping you implement best practices from certified NLP practitioners and story brand coaches. And that's just scratching the surface of what's inside.
And that's why we're excited to sponsor the Entrepreneurial Elevation podcast with Kelly Beveridge. Kelly is a thought leader who inspires and elevates entrepreneurs worldwide.
We believe in the power of community and continuous learning, and this podcast is a fantastic resource for any coach looking to truly grow their practice.
So join us on this journey. Tune into the Entrepreneurial Elevation podcast for insights and inspiration, and visit Coach Core to transform your coaching business today.
Coach Core, your path to coaching success.
Yeah.
I could talk forever.
No, this is perfect. This is like, I'm just like hanging on to every word because I'm so curious about this. So, because I've been really looking at as an entrepreneur, because it's like you said, the reason why a lot of people become entrepreneurs, if not most at some capacity, is we want freedom, we want time, and we want money. Yet we find ourselves as an entrepreneur not having freedom because we work like ourselves to the bone, right? And I just came off, I spent all of last year in burnout rebuilding myself and just getting back in tune with what I wanted for myself and starting a new business, because I was in a masculine energy of doing for years. And so this is just so interesting to me. So I want a couple questions. As you're speaking, what I'm thinking about is something I teach is how to design our life through our value system, like to look at your schedule and make sure you're designing it with your values, that your highest values get met first, that kind of thing. My friend, she helps people design their schedules around your energy. So she has pink energy, which is like calming your nervous system, being still. It's feminine energy. And then your masculine energy, which is the doing and the creating. And so she takes it one level further. I feel like this is like another level where, okay, as women, here's like one of the deepest levels I've heard of how to really take a look and design our life and set ourselves up for success, right, around our cycles. And so that all of our needs can be met. So my question for you, as you're sharing this and explaining it, why would somebody go to the trouble to play around with this and figure it out and uproot our life and be open to change? What are some of the benefits you're seeing with yourself and with women who are scheduling and designing their life around their cycle and their hormones?
So first of all, I show up for my clients differently when I'm aware, because I know which part of the cycle I am. So I know how much I'm giving. And I am also aware if I really have to step up, right, a notch, because it's like we also set a level of expectations on what our client's supposed to get from us. But then I know it's like this is where, so I am at, let's say, 60%, but then it goes with expectation. So our clients are hiring us for a reason because they need it in whatever capacity. But they need me at my 100%. That's the reality. And then, and again, of course, it goes as with the report where our clients' dynamics can change. Like without getting into the little detail, you give your 100%, but it's draining you. And but being aware, right? It allows you to say, you know what, I'm going to spread out my time between clients more because I know I have to give that extra that I might not have. The other aspect of things is it would allow you to say things like, is it possible that I can think about what we just talked for 30 minutes and then I get back to you? Right? Because there are times that we really need to make decisions. That's a reality, right? There are times that it is what it is. It is this, you have to decide now. But if you're aware of that, you can say, you know what? Can I take some time? Half an hour, 24 hours, depends on what's possible. And I can get back to you. And with the answers or the strategy or the plan on how we're going to act on whatever you need to make a decision for your business. So those are aspects that I'm noticing. I'm finding myself that my body is more in tune with myself. Like things are just like, it's not like you need to, it's like putting oil in the old school wheel, right? So then now it really, really is turning smoothly. So that is what it felt to me. It's very hard to explain in words because it's something inside of you that feels that now you're in harmony. Because now you set the intention, which plays a big role, of course. You're setting the intention in your mind that you're going to start following your life more towards your cycle. And that's already creating a shift. That's done. That's the power of intention right there. And then you go and then you start feeling this harmony within your soul. And then now you and your body, so your mind and your whole body are really communicating properly. Because there is a part, like there is when one of the cycles, which is the last cycle where we need to rest, that's when our cortisol is in the highest, right? So I know for me particularly, which way we call the nurturing phase, that's when you want to take a break and all that kind of stuff. That is phase that I know, and it makes completely sense now that because the cortisol levels are higher, that's when I used to tell my kids, like they knew. I'm like, my patient is like this, and you cannot see through my fingers. That's where my patience is. But it's interesting because as I'm sharing this with you, then I'm realizing, of course, the cortisol levels are in the highest point. You don't want to make any decisions in that moment because everything is like you see an issue that normally you will find a solution like this. And that phase in your cycle, you will make a big deal. You will probably scream at a client or you say like nothing is working. You're trying to come up with some sort of an inspiration because you have to write your newsletter and nothing is coming. Like, don't do it at that point, but being aware of that and being okay with that understanding. And I get it, which means that, again, if you have a deadline, but now you know that you're working with what's happening in your body. So when do you want to write newsletters? What kind of newsletters do you want to write? And what is the message that you want to get across, it will definitely come out of what is your emotional state.
Hmm.
No matter how much you want to think that we're in business, we cannot bring our emotions. Our emotions are part of our body, our life, and we really gotta embrace that instead of trying to act like men. We're not like men. I realized a long time ago that I don't want to be like men. I'm done acting like it. I'm done doing business like them, which takes an effort too. Because everything that it comes to marketing, sales, it is very masculine. It's all about giving. It's all, and this is where it's crazy. So marketing, it's all about what's the problem? Just talk about the problem, because I am the one giving you the solution. The nurturing way, which is, I think marketing is shifting in that direction. It's more about, I can help you with this, and that. So looking at the positive instead of focusing on all the challenges, the pains, the aches, and all that stuff. But that's very masculine. How can we start really speaking on, I can help you with, and there's still a problem, by the way. So going back to your question as well, what are the benefits? Weight loss, right? You're more balanced emotionally. Like you're more like, so you don't have those peaks of emotions or stress, or how stress affects your emotions. So you're going to be more tuned in with your environment and your inner soul. What else? So balance, more clarity, more focus. So there's going to be less brain fog. Yeah.
So many benefits, right? Yeah. This is so cool. Like I have a saying, I always say awareness before change. And this is really cool because it's like really tapping into our bodies and understanding ourselves and honoring ourselves as women. And I feel as women, we actually, and I'm totally generalizing here yet, I feel like we have a gift where we can be and play in our masculine full out to create, yet where we're actually, what our superpower actually is our feminine, right? Yet how often as an entrepreneur, because we're speaking to entrepreneur and high achievers, do we allow ourselves to play and sit and feel and experience our feminine? I know I rarely do. And recently it's been something I've been really intentional around and strategic around. And so I love what you're chatting about because I can see the benefits of it, right? Like it's making sense to me what you're sharing. Now, implementing it is going to be a bit of a different stretch. Yet that's going to take time and practice and growth and all of that. Yet it's enticing, Dee, because one, even the fact that I would allow myself a stretch of days to be where I'm nurturing myself, like that's huge. And just all the benefits that you're talking about too. And it's totally doable. It's just being intentional and being strategic. How do you think we support each other as women so that we don't shame by accident each other for attempting to adopt this kind of scheduling?
I think we really need to be smart because again, it goes back to the fact that we're still living in a very patriarchy, patriarchy. So this is where we have to be smart, right? And smart meaning you don't really have to tell the world that you are bleeding or you're on your day one and you're gonna. So this is where our creativity, our nurturing, our intelligence, right? We need to own that. And it's where I'm saying, you're saying, can I have 30 minutes and I can get back to you, right? Because you know where you're in. Or where you can work and say, you know what, can we schedule our meeting for this day instead? So you just have to be smart and creative in that sense, right? So then we talk about what are the things that we gotta do is just say everything. Now I know this is how I'm ruling my life. But the feminine in us is to find a way to do and rule our life differently. So, and I will give you an example. When we look at Hindu culture, right? What the first thing that you see is you see the monk meditating, sitting quietly, right? in whatever mudra they're choosing to do for whatever reason, and that's it. Okay. But then, what do you see also in the Hindu culture? Women are flowing. They're the ones that are dancing in those walls and paintings and figurines that they have. Women are moving, are dancing, are flowing, and we're forgetting that part of us. So when you're talking about how we're going to integrate, just think about that analogy of the Hindu culture. Men can sit and meditate, sitting quietly, not moving, and then that's the doorbell.
No worries.
And then women were more creative and strategic in a state of flow when we're moving, when we're dancing, which is why yoga seems to more women tend to like yoga more, because it's putting you at a state, but you're still moving, you're still doing all these things, right? So that is the aspect of understanding, right? That is not all about doing in a certain way. So the other thing could be find a partner in business that is more in their masculine if you want to be more in your feminine. That's another way, because then now you're allowing yourself to step in your feminine, in the nurturing, in that flow, in that creative state, which is our nature, right? When that person that is more in the masculine energy, it can be more of the driven action, the putting things in place as you're passing that on to that person. And that's the perfect match, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can find that within yourself, it will be perfect. And if you can, it's also perfect, because it's just a matter to align with your true self, and the partner, if that's something that it's possible in your business, will show up, and then it will be like complement for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh. You know what, Dee? I'm sure people who are listening just want to hear more. And I know I want to keep asking you questions. And I think we're just scratching the surface, right, of this topic. And
Be kind,
right,
be kind.
just scratching the surface.
Yeah.
And I think it's cool though, because it's gonna create curiosity, I hope, for those of you who are listening. And so where can my listeners, because I have a few last questions and we do have to wrap up, yet I think it's great that we're creating curiosity for hopefully people to want to learn more. And so how can people get a hold of you to learn more about this, to pick your brain, to learn about the programs that you offer? So maybe just chat, where can people find you? And then tell us a little bit more about your wellness hub and the programs that you have.
So basically, go to social media, go Dee Mago. You can find me under Naked, right? Because it has to be sexy. And I know we're talking about hormones and we didn't talk about all the sexy stuff, but anyway. And so you can find me under Dee Mago, Naked Fit, Happy Naked. There is a book that you can find on Amazon. It's called Happy Naked. And it's all about the foundation. Because that's the thing, we are overthinking. We need to take care of the foundation. Basics. Go back to basics. It's key. We're forgetting the basics. And then the program, we can do it in person. We can do it online. I'm in Calgary, Alberta. So I work with my clients here in person, but also this program works nicely online, that it can be delivered through an app, that all this is nicely tailored and organized for women to follow step by step, and we're still working together. So if you go to Wellness Hub, yyc.com, that's what I have created with my partner in business and romantically and all that stuff. So we have created the Wellness Hub. And the Wellness Hub, we're also in Calgary, but the programs that we do, we can, like a lot of the stuff, it can be done online as well. And you can get a hold of me through wellnesshub.yyc.com. You can find me on social media as Dee Mago, Happy Naked, Naked Fit, all that stuff as well. If you're looking for me, you can find me. I guarantee you that. Right?
So awesome.
But ultimately, the Wellness Hub, it's a place where we're looking to find the root cause of all your trouble. This is true wellness. And I'm not going to go too far into how corrupted and broken, which I'm already saying it, our healthcare system is around the world, that is just providing band-aid, quick solutions that provide other issues in your health. We're looking like we, all of us came together with, and the one thing I can tell you that we're all passionate about is that we're looking for the root cause of your health problems. And they are different because they all show up in the body. But the time they show up in the body, they actually screening. And I want to share this. I saw today when I was at my chiropractor, it said, if you listen to your body when it whispers, you won't have to hear it scream. So this is something that is what happened. So unfortunately, when people come to see us at the Wellness Hub, their body's screaming.
Yeah.
But we're looking to get to the root cause. As weird as it sounds, if you're not used to a healing journey, everything comes down to our emotion. Everything. And our body, it's just screaming at you with back pain, imbalances, meaning even physical imbalance, right? Compensations, anything.
Yeah.
And this is how we all came together. We just opened on March 1st. So we're very, very, very new in town. However, the need of getting our body truly healthy, it is coming out more and more clear every time, because unfortunately, all these big corporations that I'm not going to mention because I want your podcast to continue active, right? All these corporations are basically ruling and unfortunately making people sick purposely. It's hard to believe. But this is where the Wellness Hub is here. We're very passionate and we're here to help and support you as a team. We all do our own thing, the method, but also each one of us have our own gift to bring to how we're helping everybody.
That's awesome, Dee. So if you're listening, definitely check Dee out. You can tell how passionate she is about health and wellness and healing. She's just so fun to be around too. If you're listening, she's just constantly smiling and she's got such great energy. And so, Dee, thank you for that. And I just have a few more questions and I will share. I'll put your information in the show notes so that people can find you. I'll put all those links in there. I didn't know you wrote a book, so I'm going to have to get that and read it. That's so cool. And okay, 3 final questions. Shifting gears a little bit here. What would you say now, Dee? Because we're speaking to entrepreneurs, goal getters, high achievers, people who have their own versions of success and what that looks like. What would you say is your version of success today?
Oh, wow. My version of success today is finding a complete balance between my personal life and business.
I love that. I love that. And what would you say to somebody? My podcast is called Entrepreneurial Elevation, Unleashing Greatness Within. So what would 3 tips be for you? What would you say would be 3 tips to unleash someone's greatness?
Connect to your emotions. Heal them, the ones that are disrupting your well-being and the success of your business, right? It's a journey. Just that one by itself is a whole journey. It could be a life journey. And definitely you won't be able to manifest from your brain. Everything that it comes to unleashing really your full potential, it will come from your heart. You really, really need to truly connect to your emotions, your well-being, the love towards yourself. And from that state, that's how you can create. Before that, you're just moving through life and that's it. And then you will see how effortless your business will be actually. It's everything will start manifesting like from the invisible into, whoa, I was thinking about it. Look who called me. Oh my God. I thought about having a space for 3 new clients And look who's calling me. Oh my, like seriously, it's going to be magic when we talk about connecting to your feminine. This is exactly how you're going to unleash your full potential, the growth and expansion of your business. And I'm speaking because this thing I'm telling you right now, I knew it intellectually. For all the work I've done, personal growth, spiritual, everything, healing, but I knew it intellectually. It literally clicked last year. 2023, and my healing journey and personal growth started in 2009. That's another podcast. But, and then, so this is from 2009, and it clicked on 2023 when I end up manifesting from where I was, a state of joy, happiness, gratitude, greatness from within. I only had to talk about it to a friend, and things will manifest the same day. Believe it or like, it's just insane.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's how it happens.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I believe you. Okay, so Dee, last question. What would you say to those listeners that when they get off this episode or they hear this episode, that they can go and do right away and apply into their life, like a call to action around your method?
Yep. So find your rhythm. We talk about your 28 menstrual cycles. Without me sending you or having this conversation 101 and finding what your cycle is, find your rhythm, and then you will find that, yes, you have a time that you need to rest. You find a time that you can make decisions wisely, coming from true wisdom. And then you will find your rhythm once you start listening to your body. So just make a tiny effort on where you are at in your life and your day to day. And when you feel the greatest, when you make a very, very assertive decision and start finding that rhythm within yourself, and you will see that you will start tuning in.
Yeah, no, I love that. Dee, thanks for being here. I've just loved this episode. I love learning new things, especially things that can really make an impact on my health and my wellness and my results in my life, my relationships, everything. And just such a great call. I'm so curious to learn more. And I just really appreciate you being here today and sharing. And just thanks for being on the podcast. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Okay, what a fascinating conversation with Dee. Something I've never even considered before or thought of, which is when am I most productive based on my 28-day cycle, right? As women, we are built differently. And what if that could be the small tweak or game changer in my success, in my results, in my energy levels, in the way that I feel about myself, in the way that I plan and design my lifestyle? Something to consider. Yeah, something to consider. I always love learning new things. So Dee, thanks so much for being here. For all of you who are listening, please like and comment and head over to my YouTube channel, Entrepreneurial Elevation, Unleashing Greatness Within, and subscribe. You can watch all of these podcast episodes on video as well at my YouTube channel. And just thanks again for being here. Hopefully you're learning as much as I am. And with love, greatness, and success, it's Kelly Beveridge.